Hello, welcome to this presentation of DNN Connect's conference module. This module is designed to help you organize a conference or a small event with speakers, attendees, sessions, and such. It's meant to run on top of DNN Platform version 8 or higher, and designed using the new MVC pattern of DNN 8. So to give you a quick idea of what the module will do, here we have already a couple of pages open with the module. So let's say we go to the attending page here. We can see attendees for this year's conference, and for last year's conference, for instance, we can see a list of sessions and list of tags that were used for various sessions, and you can drill down and see more of each session. In all, it offers a lot of different views of the conference, and that was one of the challenges, let's say, of this module. It was to provide a way that we can easily adapt the module to look the way we'd like it to look for our conference, and to provide various angles on the same data that is stored. So let's first start by downloading the module. So I've set up a DNN 8 version here on my machine. It's a plain vanilla DNN 8. The only thing I've done is I've added a little module of my own that allows me to quickly log in as certain users. So I've added quite a few users here. There's obviously the super user and admin account, but there is a couple of users under a role that I've called conference management, and all the registered users are here in the list. And if I just want to switch to one of the other ones, I can just do that very quickly like this. So in case you're seeing this and wondering what it is, that's what it is. I've removed the usual bits from the front screen, from the first screen, and installed this. It makes life a lot easier to demo this module. So where do you find this module? Well, you head over to GitHub, go to the DNN Connect account, and the module is called Conference. So it's a conference module by DNN Connect, and there are, as of this recording, 5 releases. This is the 5th release. It's 2.05. So you click on the install zip, download this to a location on your hard drive. I've put one on the desktop that I will upload. And then you head over under the host menu of your DNN installation to the extensions page. I'll do that now. I will click install extension. We'll choose to the desktop, and here we go. So here's my file, the zip file. Here it goes. Next. Accept the license, and there we go. Blue here means it's installed okay, and everything seems to be fine. Alright, and now we're going to create a page to install it on. So I'm first going to head on back to the home page, and here add a new page. The page I will call Conference. Actually, this is going to be a placeholder because we're going to create quite a few pages for this conference. So I'm just going to first create a page at the top level, just after home. I'm not going to put anything on there. I'm going to include it in the menu and over there. And now I will, as you can see right now, there's a conference tab that's been opened. And now I'm going to go over and create a page just for the management of the conference. Management, and I don't need a page template here or anything on there. I'm going to include it in menu. Permissions are going to be for the conference management to see this page. I'll make sure that's view. I'm going to add that page. As you can see, it's now underneath conference management. And we're going to add our just newly installed module there. It is shown here with this icon, and we can either drag it or we can just say add to the content pane, as I do here. Close this off again. And this is basically what you will see first. We can now check out the settings. Can actually manage conferences. There you go. Sorry, not those. This one. There you go. Conference management, can manage conferences. And we update this. There we go. Now we can close off the edit mode. The module at this point is still empty, and we can create our first conference. Now there's one thing that you should keep in mind at this point, and that is that the data for this module, so every conference basically can be shared throughout the whole portal, throughout the website. So in a, let's say, regular classic DNN module, the data that goes into the module, that is stored by the module, if you have, for instance, an HTML module, or you have an events module or something like that, the data is tied to that module. If you then create a new instance of that module somewhere else, you will start with a fresh screen and there won't be any data in it. That's not the case with this module. This module actually ties the data that it contains to the portal. So if you then put another copy of this module somewhere else, you'll actually see the same data. You'll see the same conferences appear. So let's create a conference. Let's say we're going to start planning for our wonderful conference this year. I'm just going to go for this. Don't have a URL that. Our great event in Southern Europe this year. Right, this year's location is going to be in Girona in Spain. The start date is the 2nd of June. And the end date is the 5th of June. Capacity, well, we're getting over 150. We have to start worrying. So an attendee role, if someone registers for the conference, we want them to be attendees, and if someone speaks, we will expect them to become part of the speaker's role on the portal, so that allows us to maybe target them with mailings or show some specific content for them. I will also say that we will allow session voting. That is a mechanism by which people can actually vote for particular aspects, particular bits of data in the module, like sessions and tags to flag their interest in these subjects. All right, I'm going to save this, and now we have our first conference here. Now, this is the management screen. Other conferences would appear as new entries below this. We could already add one for next year, but for now I'll just leave it with this. And if we want to manage it, at this point in time we can edit the data, we can manage sessions and speakers, tracks, locations and slots, and the schedule. But usually at this stage we're not doing that yet. We really would like to get speakers and attendees. So for that we create a new page, and I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut. I'm going to say copy this page. That allows me to keep the same module on there. This time I'm going to call it speaking. Page details, speaking. Oh dear. Speaking. Parent page is still conference. It comes after management. I'm going to include it in the menu, and the permissions will be that, in fact, all users can see this page. Now, that should be enough. At this point in time, we see the same management screen, but we're now going to change that. So what we do is we're going to say, well, we're going to set the view to my presentations and the conference to this conference. Also, the permissions should now be made absolutely clear to the module. We have conference management, and we have the registered users role here. So conference management is allowed to manage the conference, and registered users are allowed to submit sessions or attend. And we'll update. Okay. At this point in time, nothing much is happening yet on this page because there are no sessions and we're not logged in as a potential speaker. Instead, we're just setting up the conference to accept speakers and attendees. So I will head over and do this again also for attendees. So again, I'm going to copy that page. This time I'm going to call it attending. This is correct. Permissions, all users can see it. That is correct. I'm going to create that page. We head over to the settings of the module. Say, well, we'd like that conference management role there again. That can manage the conference, and registered users can submit and attend the conference. And now we're going to say we're going to go for the attendees view, and this is the conference. There you go. All right. Now this is part 1. At this point we are ready to start accepting sessions. So what we're going to do is I'm now going to use another browser that is not logged in with the super user account, but with a regular account, and see what it looks like from a registered user's perspective. So let's head over to Leanne, in this case, conference, and let's say that Leanne is interested in speaking. So Leanne's going to create a session and say, I'm going to talk a little bit about creating DNN modules, a quick introduction into creating DNN modules. Now, tags will be, for instance, DNN API, and let's say module development. There you go. An abstract. I'll fill this in later. And here's some notes she can write. I created some example for this. Okay. And we're going to say, well, this is a 100 level presentation, and capacity is not important at this point in time because basically we can handle any number of people in the room. I'm going to save that. All right. At this point in time, Leanne has created a first session. Now, what you need to realize is that there is a workflow for every session. So a session starts off as just something that someone manages themselves. It's not even visible to anyone else, not even management. If I head over to the conference here, and I say, okay, well, as a manager, I log in, I want to manage the sessions and speakers. there is nothing there. The only thing that I do see is that Leanne Sharpman apparently is interested in speaking. That's all I see. So I'm actually going to log out here briefly and log in as a real manager. And going to go for Dito, who should see management here. And he sees the same thing. He sees this. There we go. Okay. Now, back to our speaker. At this point, our speaker is actually researching the subject, thinking about what it will do, etc. And one of the things she should really do is edit the profile. She clicks edit profile for that. She ensures the fields here are correct, little biography, and always make sure you have a nice picture there of yourself. So we're going to give her a picture like this. That's Kathy. And so now I can now she can manage her session here, and as you'll see, she can go in and edit it a bit more. More text to add it here, that's for sure, and save it. And when she goes to the details screen of the session, she will see a few more options. And those are internal comments and public comments. Now these internal comments serve to be able to discuss between her and the conference managers about this session. So let's add some comment here. Alright, so there we go, she has a comment, and she can also at some point in time decide to actually submit this to the conference for inclusion, and at that point in time it becomes visible to the managers. So do you want to submit the session? Okay, click OK, and at this point in time the session has been submitted. Now if I go to the conference management screen that our friend the conference manager sees, and I refresh that, you will see that in fact there's a submitted session here, creating DNN modules. It's in the state of submitted, and we can now click on it to view it. There you go. Now this is what the conference manager sees, and he will see this. And now he can open a conversation with her and say, love to see this type of presentation. Right, add the comment. Okay, at this point in time, we've opened a conversation with her, and for Leanne, if she waits a little, and there we go. So there the comment has appeared, and now the manager will see that comment coming up soon. There we go. Okay, now let's assume that Leanne would like to co-present with someone else. At this point in time, she would need to ask management to do this. So as I'm just going to go to her screen. At this point in time, she's going to ask, so and the conference manager we'll see this come in. Sure. Okay, so now we can head over and edit this conference, and let's have a look. Sessions and speakers, where was I? Here. Let's edit this session and add Ruben to this to the list of speakers. There we go. And she will now also have she can have a private conversation with Ruben. Now, let's now log in as Ruben. So we're going to go home, log in as this guy, speaking, and he can see the very same session as Liane. And at this point in time, he can also edit this. And when he sees this, he sees these private and internal and public comments as well. And of course, we're going to add a picture for him. Let's make sure that take Bogdan. Here we go. And save that. And now he is there as well. So, okay. Now, at some point in time, management will decide that this session is good for inclusion, and so they will change the status to accepted and save it. There we go. Now it's an accepted session, and these sessions start to show up in a public view of the module. Now, before we briefly touched upon the ability to vote for sessions and for themes, and we'll go into that in a bit more detail now. For that, we're logged in as admin again, and we're going to add a page to present the conference to all registered users of this site, or at least let them make the page visible to all users, but let registered users vote on things. So for that, I'm going to copy this page again. There you go. I'm going to give it a meaningful title. Page details. Conference. So, add it to the end. Include it in the menu. And at this point in time, all users can see it. There we go. And now in the settings. That's right. Permissions. Let's add the registered users are already there. They can attend, they can submit sessions, and these can manage the conference. And we should have set, of course, the right panel, the right view. The view being conference and of DNN Connect 2016. So, there we go. At this point in time, we see the accepted session there. I'm just going to go out of edit mode. and we see the ability to vote. Now let's head over here and log in as any old registered user. So I'm going to go to this one, Nicky Coulson, heading over to the conference, sees this and says, oh, by the way, I really would like to see more about module development, and I think creating DNN modules is an awesome thing. That looks like an awesome presentation. And now let's log in as someone else. And there we go, conference. And let's say, okay, well, I agree with that. And I agree with that one. And just for the sake of something else, were we already logged in as her? No, maybe not. Okay, let's go here. And say, okay, well, I think this will be a great session, and I'd like to know more about the DNN API, and I would like to know a bit more about React.js. There we go. On the session, and when you're logged in, you can actually leave a comment as well. So let's log in again. I say, well, you know, I'd like to, with this conference, leave a public comment, and of course this is visible by everyone else. So, attending. Now, at some point we will want to allow our audience to signal that they would like to attend the conference, and for this we have this page with attendees, for the attendees, saying, okay, well, I intend to go to the conference. This is a very preliminary step. I can do this for a couple of people, of course. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's change to, there again, let's go to attending. Okay, I'd like to go to this conference as well. And, oh, sorry, home screen. Attending. I intend to go to this conference. And at some point they will have booked plane tickets and everything. And at that point, they're definitely going to the conference, at which at which moment you will click again to go to the second stage. This may seem a little bit elaborate, but at the same time, what we've seen in our conferences is that at a very, very early stage, people will not exactly know whether they're actually going to come, but they will have an intention to come and block their agenda and find out travel arrangements. So we have this two-stage process to you know, saying, okay, we're definitely going to come, and at that point in time, that is as far as it will go for the end user. Now, the conference manager, however, because they are in charge of also overseeing payments and all that. Let's log in as the conference manager again. Let's go back to the attending page. They actually have the possibility to promote someone to confirm to attend. This is meant to be a step to basically confirm that they've paid, that they've done everything that was necessary for us to count on them actually being there. So there we go. Right, so now is the time to delve into the next step of organizing the conference. And at this point in time, I'd like to talk more about how conference managers piece together the various aspects and build up the schedule of the conference using tracks, locations, and slots. So for that, we're going to go into the management screen, and we're going to go to tracks, locations, and slots. You'll see on the right the list of themes that people have entered and the number of sessions that are there for each theme. We see tracks, we see locations. Now, you're probably all familiar with the notion of tracks, so I'm just going to add a track here called Develop development, yeah, technical, let's say technical, and we're going to give it a background color to go with this, and we're going to save that. We're going to add another one, and we're going to call it non-technical. We're going to give it another color. Let's see what we have. We can of course paint our own color in here, but I've added a generator, so it makes it a bit easier to generate a bit of pastel colors. So now we have now we need to come to locations. Locations are the rooms, where the halls where the presentations will be held. Let's say we have 2 rooms. We have a main room, and give it some description. We can have a capacity there. This mode is not used yet, but we can always use that later on in the module. And a side room. Let's call it a side room for argument's sake, with a capacity of 50. Okay, now it's time to introduce the concept of slots. Slots are time segments during a day into which we can place sessions, or during which certain things happen, like lunch or dinner. And for that we have a timesheet editor here at the bottom. We can add a slot. In this case we'll make it a slot that can receive a session in it. I was going to give it a name, but that's not really necessary. And add that to the schedule, and then I'm going to drag it to the right place. So let's say we start the conference for real at 9:30 for the first slot of 1 hour. I'm going to add another one. Let's have a look. Slot 2, and put that over here. We're going to start that at, we're going to give it a quarter of an hour break. I'm going to get an hour as well. Maybe at the start of the day we're going to have an opening session, and where everyone's gathered in the same place, and we'll just put that at, we're going to make that for from 8:45 for half an hour, and then we head off into our first sessions. All right, at this point in time we can actually make our schedule. Let's return. Let's now head over to the schedule. So as you can see in the schedule, we've got our 2 locations set up, the main room, the side room. We've got our opening, and we can see our slots here in a hashed pattern on the grid. Now, given a larger screen, this will be a little bit easier to drag and drop, but here we go. These are the unscheduled sessions here on the side. A little description pop up when you hover over them, and we're just going to drag one of these over and start putting them in place. We're going to put this one over here, and then Dickinson is going to go here. There we go. And this session is going to go over here. There you go. So at this point we have a tentative schedule. This obviously is a very small example with just 4 sessions that are happening. In real life you'd probably have several tens, 20 sessions to deal with, but in any case this makes it quite easy to drag and drop those sessions around on your schedule. The module in the meantime does check if at any point in time an author is planned to be in the same slot in 2 locations, at which point it will actually throw an error. Will not allow you to do that. But let's assume we've done everything correctly here, and now we're going to create a new page to actually show the schedule to the end users in the run-up to the conference. So for that, I'm just going to log in as admin again. I'm going to go back to one of these pages, copy the page, and we're going to call it, just call it schedule. There you go. It's we'll add it to the end, include it in the module. All users can see it, and that should be it. Alright, so now we're going to change the settings for this. At this point in time, we're going to change the view to schedule for this conference. Permissions are not that important on this view because there's no interaction with this. This is just a presentation of the schedule for the conference. Now, as you can see, it's added actually all the days that we have. We have a conference running from the first day, Thursday, through Friday, through Saturday, and that's the end of it. So obviously the schedule will be fuller and larger and become a little bit more easy on the eye as it fills up. And finally, I'd like to add a page for just presenting all the speakers. So we'll copy this page again. I'm going to go for it. Speakers, at the end, and permissions should be correct here. So we're going to add that page, and here we're going to set the view to speakers for this conference. And that should give us a list of the currently selected speakers. Now, how does this look to the end user? The end user is, here's the conference page. Schedule is here and speakers here. So if I click on one of those speakers, I will see the profile in case she's added a biography, and I'll see the sessions that speaker is scheduled to give. Same here. He's involved in two presentations. Obviously, I can drill down and then see the actual session. Now, same thing with the schedule. I can actually click on one of these and also go straight into the presentation and see any comments and see what the presentation is about. Right. Okay, so this takes us all the way up to the conference itself. Now, you will want to get materials from the speakers in the run-up and in the aftermath of the conference. Usually the PowerPoint slides, and sometimes things like YouTube videos that they've posted, or links to source code or zip files with source code. So let's do that. We're going to go to the home page, and at this point in time, we're going to log in as one of the presenters. So let's go into my speaker page. So I see I have two presentations here. I'm going to go into this one, and here I can now upload various content. So at this point I've uploaded a zip file, but I could also add it a link. So let's do that. So here I have a few links open. What I'll do is I'll add a link to the DNN software site. And okay, well, that goes here. And I'll add a YouTube video that was recorded last year. There you go. And there we go. That is now on the site, actually. Recording of the presentation. Okay. So at this point, of course, the speakers could add anything, and it's up to the conference managers to actually okay this content. So they go over into the management mode again, manage these sessions and speakers. Let's have a look at the where is it? I think it was this one that had the new content. And so they get to okay this, approve this content. So okay, well, we approve this, and that's good. They can also add other content. And now the end user, when they look at the session, they will see this content as well. So that could be the YouTube video. They could download the zip file, or they can hop over and follow the link that is included. So that wraps up our presentation of our conference module. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and please visit our events if you want to know more about DNN module programming. And yeah, maybe see you at one of our events.